Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, June 5, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I really appreciate the fact that you guys got my last video up to at least 300 likes. And I'd love it if you get this video up to at least 100 likes. Just 100 likes is all I'm asking for. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video, and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more weather lovers or rain lovers just like you guys, so that we can build this weather community in time for the peak of hurricane season, and in turn keep everyone safe. Share this video with your friends, your relatives, your co-workers, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the US National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. And as of 7:02 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:02 p.m. Jamaica time, there is no tropical cyclone activity expected during the next 7 days. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can still see that the entire Atlantic basin is being dominated by ridges of high pressure that we know are responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And in turn, sometimes we can get some Saharan dust from Africa, not to mention all of these tropical waves pushing all the way from Africa along the intertropical convergence zone across the main development region, if not into the Caribbean. Some of these tropical waves crashing into sections of northern and South America. You can also see some broken orange lines right here, stretching all the way across Jamaica into portions of eastern Cuba and the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, associated with the trough attached to an airflow pressure. And it's this trough that has been affecting the weather across the Greater Antilles, including Jamaica, for the past week. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with this trough still stringing along and bringing a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity to sections of the Greater Antilles. Definitely had some flash flooding taking place across sections of Hispaniola, that's Haiti and the Dominican Republic right here. Not so much activity across Jamaica today, more so yesterday, even although the Meteorological Service of Jamaica instilled a flash flood warning for the island that was to wrap up by 5 p.m. Didn't get any updates after 5 p.m. We'll see exactly what unfolds, if they update it, if they're going to extend it, or if they're going to drop it or downgrade it to a flash flood watch instead. You can also see a lot of thunderstorm activity affecting sections of northern and South America and sections of Central America as well. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, June 5. It was stated that sections of some eastern parishes in Jamaica would have received some morning rainfall, then affecting sections of mainly eastern, northern, and western parishes during the afternoon. And just for reference, we know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, so Portland, St. Andrew, Kingston, and St. Thomas. Western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, so Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. While northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on the top side of the island, so referring to Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. And what ended up happening? At 2:55 p.m. a post was made on our Twitter page highlighting the fact that we definitely had that rainfall across sections of some northern parishes. So we saw the infrared satellite image that was posted showing those high cold cloud tops as represented by those blues, those greens, yellows, oranges, red. Not to mention the sparkling white dust that represents some amount of lightning flashes, if not lightning strikes. So we definitely had some thunderstorm activity taking place across sections of Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney. However, the rest of the island, for the most part, was clear. If we take a look at what took place on the city view overlooking Kingston on See Jamaica's YouTube channel. If you don't know by now, we have a partnership with that channel. They actually show live streams of Kingston, and we can see that it was a mostly sunny day across Kingston, as we see here, a ship going by. Even earlier, we saw what looked to be a helicopter landing right there. As you can see, definitely sunny conditions across the corporate area today. And if you'd like to see some more live streams like this, just visit their channel, that's See Jamaica. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, earlier today we definitely had some clouds coming into sections of eastern Jamaica, but no update was made at that time, unfortunately. We even still had some clouds affecting sections of eastern parishes. So section of St. Thomas, section of Portland, section of St. Mary definitely got some amount of rainfall as we wrapped up the day. But if we look back at the earlier images, we saw the thunderstorm activity that was taking place across sections of Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, and even sections of northwestern St. Elizabeth and eastern Westmoreland. Even sections of St. Mary, western Portland definitely got in on a burst of convection right there before all was said and done. If we take a look at the latest infrared satellite images of Jamaica, we can see that majority of the cloud cover that was causing the thunderstorm activity has now dissipated. We saw we had that heavy thunderstorm activity, definitely, especially across the cockpit country right there, that's southern St. James, eastern Hanover, eastern Westmoreland. All of this activity being blown off towards the southeast, all courtesy of that upper level wind shear from the northwest. And we even see that thunderstorm activity that we saw briefly across sections of western Portland. If we take a look at the latest Doppler radar images from the Cuban radar site, we don't see much happening across the island at this time. There's some dots of rainfall right there to the east and northeast of the Cayman Islands. Some rainfall right there across northern portions of Cuba associated with the trough. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see we're 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should hit down to about 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that this map is showing the GFS's temperature forecast, valid for 18Z on Thursday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Thursday. And we see Jamaica right here embedded in some yellows and some slight oranges that represent anywhere from 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. I know the normal temperatures for the month of June across Jamaica are about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look at the thermometer, 90 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 32.2 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32 to 34 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Thursday. Taking a look at the dry air map, we still have a lot of moist air across the Caribbean as we see more blues across our area here, especially considering the amount of troughing taking place. So the air is definitely moist, which explains all the thunderstorms that we've been experiencing mainly during the afternoon. However, as it relates to the Saharan dust forecast, we can see that the browns associated with the Saharan dust are definitely making its way into portions of the Central Caribbean, as we can see all of this right here stretching all the way from Africa across the mid-development region into the Caribbean, and there's a lot more of that to come. And we see that this is valid for 2 p.m. on Thursday, so Jamaica should be in the clear for that time. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus that we should be receiving those lighter shades of blues to darker shades of blues that represent anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height to 1 meter wave height. And that's because the winds, for the most part, as we can see here on both the Euro and the GFS models, should be coming in from the southeast across the island, averaging anywhere from, let's say, 5 to 10 to even 50 knots at most. And we also see that the air is definitely going to be piling up across sections of some northern and western parishes again. So if we get some rainfall, all courtesy of the trough, it could spell some rainfall across sections of some eastern parishes or some southern parishes, especially during the morning hours. And then during the afternoon, when all of that air piles up, we have those cumulus clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper level cumulonimbus clouds across sections of some northern parishes. We know the wind has a lot to do with the rainfall, and with the upper level winds still coming in from the northwest across the island, we can still see something like what took place across the island today right here, with all of the air piling up across sections of northern parishes from the southeast. Then we had that thunderstorm activity across northern and western Jamaica, and those high cold clouds blowing those thunderstorm cloud tops off. Well, the wind shear blowing those thunderstorm cloud tops off towards the southeast. So we might have something similar tomorrow. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall, we see that there's some consensus and some disagreement with what both the Euro and the GFS models are forecasting for 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 6 a.m. Jamaica time. The Euro a bit less robust with that rainfall across the island in the morning. Some blues that represent rainfall across the southern and eastern portions. GFS a bit more robust, showing all of those darker blues and even greens right there across the southern and eastern sections of the island, while the Euro showing a lot more rainfall to the west. And the thing is, we need to remember that Jamaica is being affected by a trough. We've reiterated numerous times how unpredictable these troughs can be. Sometimes they can cause a lot of rainfall and flooding at some unannounced times throughout the day, but the trend has been for more of the rainfall across the island during the afternoon. So it would be interesting to see if we get some actual morning rainfall, some tremendous rainfall. We know the troughs can definitely cause flooding, but at the same time, the troughs can definitely cause little to no rainfall, or having most of the rainfall displaced over another area. And if we remember, it was actually a tropical wave across the Central Caribbean, but the trough has now absorbed that tropical wave. Trough has definitely taken over, and this trough has been lingering for a good week or maybe two, and there's definitely a lot more in it, considering that both the Euro and the GFS models are confirming rainfall for the early morning. Look at this, even by 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's actually 9 a.m. Jamaica time, you still see more blues that represent rainfall across sections of some southern and eastern parishes. So we still have it for the early morning southern and eastern parishes, and we have it for the mid-morning southern and eastern parishes. But what about the afternoon hours? This is valid for 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. Now the Euro a bit more robust, showing more rainfall across most parishes, eastern, central, and western Jamaica. GFS making more sense, having that rainfall across sections of eastern, northern, and western Jamaica, which makes more sense considering the southeasterly flow and where all of the air is going to be piling up across northern portions of the island tomorrow. So definitely some more afternoon rainfall for sections of Portland, maybe St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, the consensus is strong for northern Jamaica on both the Euro and the GFS models, especially the Euro. We see those greens and even yellows in there, represent some heavy rainfall. We'll see how that goes as it relates to the accumulated precipitation forecast by both the Euro and the GFS models. We can see that these maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. Not saying that's going to be raining from now all the way up until then, but these are the areas that are going to be picking up the most in the way of rainfall. The GFS has the most rainfall across northwestern parishes, up to at least 0.79 of an inch of rainfall. The Euro has up to 0.8 of an inch of rainfall across the north as well. So there's definitely going to be some amount of rainfall across the island within the next 24 hours. And we're indeed grateful for that. We're in the month of June. We're in our secondary rainy season. We usually receive up to 133.35 millimeters of rainfall during this month. That's almost 5 or almost 6 inches of rainfall. Almost 6 inches of rainfall. That is, considering that 25 millimeters represent 1 inch of rainfall. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get to put some kind of a dent in the drought that some areas are currently experiencing. Not to mention to put some kind of hold on the very warm temperatures that we've been experiencing across the island. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have a lot of clouds bringing showers and thunderstorms across sections of the northern Caribbean islands, as well as the greater Antilles associated with the trough. So definitely sections of the Bahamas, Cuba, the Turks and Caicos, sections of Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, Jamaica, even sections of the Cayman Islands will be getting in some amount of rainfall even now. We can also see a lot of thunderstorm activity taking place across sections of Honduras, southern Guatemala, El Salvador, sections of Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana. Not much activity taking place across the Windward and Leeward Islands at this time at all. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, we're definitely going to be seeing where we are still being plagued by some amount of rainfall. across sections of the eastern portion of the Dominican Republic, sections of eastern Puerto Rico, southern and southwestern Puerto Rico as well. The US and British Virgin Islands definitely getting nailed as we speak, and they've actually been getting this throughout the day. If we load these Doppler radar images from about 2 o'clock today Central Daylight Time, that's our time, you can see that they've definitely been getting it, especially the British Virgin Islands. Maybe some flooding taking place earlier today. Not much activity across the Leeward Islands at all. So St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Dominica definitely in the clear. And we can tell of that even better on the Barbados radar. Not seeing much at all. Barbados in the clear. Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia in the clear. But we do see some stray showers going into sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as we speak. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, you can see that thunderstorm activity that sections of Cuba had today, sections of Honduras as well, not to mention sections of northwestern Venezuela, Colombia, and even sections of Suriname with some isolated showers. If we take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we do see the above normal temperatures that should be plaguing sections of mainly the central and western Caribbean, sections of the Bahamas, Florida, central United States especially, the Central America region right there where we see all of these reds way above normal temperatures. But we do see the grays and some blues that represent average to below normal temperatures, as we can see by the key on the right. That should be affecting sections of the eastern Caribbean. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Thursday, we do see all the browns that represent the Saharan dust stretching all the way from Africa across the Mid-Atlantic region into the Caribbean. So we're definitely going to be experiencing some hazy skies, maybe triggering some respiratory illnesses in some people across the eastern Caribbean, section of the ABC Islands, Puerto Rico, and all of this is pushing westward, so it might make it to the western Caribbean or the western portion of the central Caribbean by Friday. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we still see a mixture of those lighter shades of blues to darker shades of blues, as you can see by the key on the bottom right, that represent anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height to 1 to even 1.5 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds are not going to be that strong at all, coming in from the east across the Mid-Atlantic region, curving northward, somewhere for southeasterly flow across the central to the eastern Caribbean. And we see the bluish greens and the brighter shades of greens that will now represent anywhere from 5 to 10 to even 15 knots, maybe even gusting to 20 knots in some spots. As relates to the rainfall forecast now, we definitely see that both the URA and the GFS models are in consensus that within the next 24 hours, the eastern Caribbean should be getting little to no rainfall, and most of the rainfall should be plaguing the areas right there to the west of St. Martin. So the US and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Cuba, sections of Florida, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, even sections of southern Belize and Guatemala getting in on the mix, sections of El Salvador too, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, and Costa Rica, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. And we can also see some of this rainfall spilling into sections of Trinidad. And we know that when both maps from the URA and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.